Hello everybody and welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how to do an updo that is really quick. So this is for the client that you don't have a lot of time for. You have maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe you're running really late and you need to whip something up. So the thing about this is it's not going to work on someone who has really healthy, thick hair. It's going to do better on someone who has textured hair, who has color treated hair, whose hair isn't super long, it's not too short. So kind of the ideal hair type for updos, but it is a nice go-to move that I use when I want to get an updo done quick and you want it to look simple and pretty, and maybe the bridesmaid doesn't really have a lot of requests for you and they're leaving it in your hands, and sometimes that can be great because then you can just whip this one out and you can be done in 10 minutes or so. So anyway, let's begin. For this one I decided to have a little bit of a Dutch braid in the front like this, and so I did that already, and I've already prepped her hair by just giving it a little bit of a curl all the way throughout. So if I were doing this on a client and she sat down, I would talk about how I want the front to look, and then I would go through and curl all of it after hairspraying it first, curling it, and then using some texture spray to give it a little bit of grip. Also for this one, I'm going to use a lot of texturizing powder, and I really like, Kenra has a texturizing powder that I like, and also Big Sexy Hair has one, which looks like this, Powder Play, which I really like. But when I'm doing tutorials or I'm working in my studio and I'm not working on a bride at a wedding, I often use off-brand products that are a little bit more inexpensive. And for this one, I'm using the Sally Beauty Supply. They're kind of house brand, which is Beyond the Zone. So this one's called Rock On, and it's like a quarter of the price of the other one. So I just use that because it's a mannequin. And I know it will do the job. All right, so I've sectioned out the front here, and I'm also going to section out the other side in front of the ear. So that means from the ear forward, I'm not going to use that right away. I'm going to be working from here to here in the crown area to start. And what you want to do is start by putting in some of the texture spray at her roots. And so I'm just going to be sprinkling it in like this, and then going through another layer down below that and doing a little more texture spray here. And I'm going to do this instead of back combing because I just want to have a little bit of a lift and grip, and not a big, really smooth poof or anything like that. So I'll go in layer by layer, and I'm just sprinkling a little bit in there. And then I'm going to kind of rub it in to get some grip here. So that will naturally build some volume in without having to back comb. So it stays soft and looks more romantic and more natural, not so stiff. Once I do that, I'm going to gather the top section of the hair, so kind of from ear to ear really, and I'm going to pin that first. So this is already getting rid of a bulk of the hair right away, so you can see how this is going to be really quick. So I take the whole section, I'm going to twist it like that, and I'm just going to pull it up a little bit to give it a little bit more volume. So you can kind of see how it gives it a little bit of lift as I'm pulling, and that texture spray that you use will help that stay put. So I'm holding it loosely between my thumb and my forefinger as I pull. And then I'm going to pin it. So I will go ahead and put the bobby pin towards the base of the head and then push in and back. So get you a little bit closer. You can see that there's a twist there. What I'm doing is I like to open up my bobby pin, grasp the hair here into the head, turn and push. So then I get a little bit of a twist here, so that looks nice. And then also those bobby pins are hidden behind the hair there. If you feel like her hair is thicker and more slippery, I would recommend doing a few more to anchor that, but her hair is fine as is. I'm gonna spray a little bit, just to hold that. And then here's where the quick part comes. So all of these pieces we're gonna be twisting up and pinning into the base that we've created right here with this twist. So each section, I'm going to do about 4 or 5 sections across the back of the head. So I'll start here. I'm going to take all of it, twist it in my hands like that, and I'm going to sprinkle some of this texture powder on her hair. And I'll just kind of work it in like this. So by actually just kind of rubbing it in with my hands, I can twist it, and I can pull this twist out just a little bit so it's got some texture to it and it's getting a little bit bigger. And I'm twisting it towards the middle here. And then I'll take a pin and pin it into the twist. Now you don't want it to be super loose right here, So I'm gonna go through and hide another pin in here. And the way that I'll do that is taking the pin, pushing it towards the scalp, and then twisting it and pushing it back like that. So that way it's secure. All right, then I'm gonna take another section right here. So all of it all the way down to the neck. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm twisting it and putting some texture spray in, or texture powder in, pushing it in my hands. Now the hair on this side is all curled towards me, so as I twist it, it's all gonna move together because I've curled it this way. All right, twisting it and pulling it here, just like I did the last time. And then I'm folding it up. So I have it in my hands like this, folding it up this way. And I'm gonna put a pin at the top. So I grab the hair, I open the bobby pin, and then I use that to put it in. Some people don't like to open bobby pins, some people do. I find that it works really well, as long as I make sure to anchor it with other pins as well. So you can see how it's kind of loose. So I'm gonna wanna take a few pins and hide them in there like that. Another one this way, and hide it in there. All right, so I got 2 up. Now I have 2 more sections on this side, and on this side I curled the hair going this way. So this way I'm going to take the hair, divide it, and do the same thing, where I'm twisting now this way, because I've curled the hair in that direction. Put a little texture powder in there, work it through, and then I'm gonna I'm gonna pull out like that. That just creates a little texture, and then I'm gonna roll it up. So you can see that it's becoming balanced, and I'm having the same amount of hair on this side as I am on this side. I'm gonna open my bobby pin, grab the ends of the hair, and push it in that way. All right, and then I'll do another one where I take another pin and just kind of anchor this one in. That's not the right pin. I like to use the same color bobby pins of the hair, so it helps to hide them. So I'm using blonde ones. All right, and then the last piece right here. You can see I have 1 section left. I'm gonna twist it like I did the rest of it and do a little texture powder. And once again, I'm gonna pull it apart like this way, which the texture powder is what really makes this happen. If you don't use texture powder or spray, you're not gonna get a good grip on the hair, and it's not gonna hold the twist like this. It's not gonna get spread out in the way that you want it to look really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna twist this one in this way. Make sure it's balanced. And I also don't want this ugly end sticking out, so I'm just gonna actually tuck it into the rest of the updo back here, and I'll hide a little pin in there to make sure that that piece doesn't fall out. So that's the nice thing about this updo is you'll have enough space underneath to sort of hide the ends if the hair's a little bit longer. So I'll go in that way. And then you wanna make sure there isn't any gap. So you see how there's a gap right there? That often happens on one side or the other, where you're going right next to where the ear is. So you can go ahead and wiggle a bobby pin in this way and push it in towards the scalp. And that will eliminate that gap. All right, so now you can see how on this side, there's a little bit of a, I don't know what to call that, like a hole there. And I'm gonna use this side to wrap around and cover that. And on this side, same with this. I'm gonna use this braid to come across and cover that spot. So I'm going to go ahead and do the braid side first because I know that this end is thicker and I wanna use the hair on this side to cover this end. So I'm gonna take this piece. You can put an elastic in it if you need to. Her hair is holding pretty well by itself. So I'm just gonna pull this across and that will cover any bobby pins you have right there. And I'm gonna pin that in that way. And again, I'm gonna tuck in any ends that I have in the rest of the updo. And it's always a good idea to go through and anchor the braid. Now what I do to anchor braids is I use an actual hairpin rather than a bobby pin. So let me see if I have one here. All right, so I'm gonna use a hairpin like this, you can kind of see it. And I'll make sure it's closed so it's a little bit tighter. And I'll actually go into the braid like this way towards the scalp and then push it towards me. And that will just help keep the braid in place. And you can go through and do that throughout the whole thing to really make sure it stays put. Now you can see the last thing that I have to do is this side. So all I'm gonna do, because I want it to be really loose and soft, is twist it away from the face like I did everything else. I'm gonna put some texture spray in, or powder, excuse me. work it through. Do the same thing I did with the rest of it. I'm gonna pull the hair out like this, and I'm gonna pull it across. And what I'm doing here is covering up the end, if you have any ends showing here, any bobby pins across, and then I'm also filling in that space on the side. And you can put a pin in that. And then make sure to hide your ends so we don't have any ends or bobby pins hanging out. And you can kind of, use the braid to pull the braid apart. Use anything that you have over there from the other side to cover up this side too. And so what you have is a 10-minute updo that's really soft, really romantic, easy, and quite pretty. So you can do this with a lot of different hair types. Like I said, it works the best with hair that's more textured, color treated, not super thick, not super thin. But really the trick is to use texture powder and to get a good set of curls on it to start. And that will help it hold and look really soft and beautiful. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will promise to keep giving you more updo videos and tutorials. Thank you.